Hi, good morning. Jennifer from Reimagine Studio. This is a sanctuary for people that want to know the truth about themselves, the world around them, people that are open to shifting perspectives. And even if you're not open to shifting perspectives, you're learning that you can be. Oftentimes, we will get stuck in our own routines, our own beliefs, that we don't even recognize that there is a different way to do it. So I remember working with a client that felt so guilty about sleeping in. And she felt like she needed to be more productive in the morning. And I literally was like, why? Why? She's like, I don't know, because like that's normal. That's what other people are doing. Well, that's not her normal. So I literally was somebody that gave her permission to set her own schedule. So she sleeps in a little bit and she works a little bit later. That's what she likes to do. So that's just one example of, where aren't things working in my life and maybe I can shift a little bit. I too have recognized this pattern in myself that my creativity comes in waves. And honestly, I think it cycles around moon phases. And I know that sounds completely woo woo because I know nothing about moon phases. I am not some weirdo over here that's like studying moon phases and like, oh, well, like I need to do this then. No, it's just something that I have noticed. Like I seem to be more or less productive, and I don't even remember which because that's how much I don't track it. But at one time I was looking at it and noticing it, and once again, is it something I need to solve and figure out and be like, oh, this is like who I am, this is what this is what defines me? No. Something else that recently came into my awareness is something that happened to me when I was in high school. So I had never really been great at math. Like I always had to work at math, even as a young child. Math just never came easy. And my freshman year, I took algebra 1. And so at my school, it was, 9 through 12 for the high school. So once again, my freshman year, I took algebra 1. Was completely miserably failing right away, like very quickly, because I have a mind that thinks different. I try to understand things from a different sense. So, like, to me, it just made no sense why adding two negative numbers together equaled a positive number. Like those basic rules of algebra, I was like, it doesn't make sense. It makes zero logical sense to me. And that is literally what held me back from excelling in advanced math, because I just couldn't accept the rules of it. And finally, when I got to college and became a nurse, I when I did all my maths in college, I started out at college arithmetic. Yeah. Like literally the first page of my book had a number line on it. And talk about humiliating. I was like, really? But anyway, I happen to be a little bit of an overachiever. I want to be good at everything I do. I don't do anything half ASSED. And so in college, I was getting A's and B's, and oftentimes A's in my math, because for every hour I spent in math, I spent like 2 hours in the tutoring center. But it's really interesting because I legit had a instructor just look at me and say, just follow the rules. If you can just follow the mathematic rules, you will get this. And literally, that's what I did. Finally, I released control over trying to understand it. Okay? So sometimes that's what we need to do in life is release control. Like, we don't have to understand every single thing. But back to the algebra in high school. So I was failing miserably my freshman year. And they're like, maybe you ought to just get a permanent art pass because you're just taking up space in this room. So I felt like a reject, and I was sent down to the basement, where art was, and hung out with all my art friends and created and had a lot of fun. And then the same thing happened with Spanish. So I took Spanish 2 years and failed both years. Like, once again, words being masculine and feminine. Like, why? Why are these words masculine and feminine? I didn't know a chair could be a he or a she. Like, these really abstract ideas that just made no sense to me at all. And once again, they're like, maybe you need a permanent art pass for this year. So there's 3 classes that I went down and spent time doing art the whole time. Little did I know that art, was going to become such a important healing tool for me. Back then, I was looking at it like, you're a reject, like you're a failure. You can't learn like other people. So once again, changing perspective, like, I was meant to be in the art room. I wasn't meant to be figuring out how to speak Spanish. I wasn't meant to be doing algebra at that time. But what then happened was my senior year, I chose to take algebra and was a senior in a class full of freshmen. And they're like, what are you doing in here? I'm like, I want to learn this. And I only needed 2 years. So yeah, like, it's just interesting how sometimes we're just not ready for certain things. And then when we are, it's really just about loosening your grip on the perspective and the way you're seeing it. So if you want something new to come into your life, you have to oftentimes clear space for it. Like, you legit have to clean your house. It's this energetic thing where, and able to enhance a quantum leap or identity shift or a perspective shift or a big power move, you energetically have to clear space. So let me talk about that for a minute. That could be in the physical realm where you actually clean your space. So that could be like getting rid of old things that tie you to certain people, getting rid of pictures, getting rid of phone numbers, getting rid of things that keep you energetically corded to a certain idea or time in your life. Other ways that you open up and create space is you literally shift. You have to, like, actually create the shift in your mind before you embody and receive the actual experience in the 3D. So when you are wanting to shift, the physical realm is always the slowest to catch up. So your brain will actually incorporate an idea, but it won't actually physically manifest in the 3D matrix, which we live in right now. That's slower. Like, it takes a minute. So that's manifestation skills. Manifesting is like this really interesting phenomena. And let me just veer off course and tell you a story about one of the first times I ever recognized how powerful of a manifester I am. So I had left a job back in 2017, and it was quite abrupt. It was a dialysis position, and I felt very unsafe in this position. I felt like I didn't receive adequate training. It was not good. It was not a good fit for me. I had just quit drinking. I was dealing with a lot of fear and anxiety. And then I'm in this position where I really just did not feel confident. I felt like I was being bullied by people. Just not great. And I had an incident happen there where I felt really unsafe. And I was like, I need to leave this work because I don't want to hurt somebody else and I don't want to start drinking again. So it was a very abrupt decision to leave. And so it was a couple days after I made this decision, I was very, upset because I thought this job was going to be the job that, was going to answer all my prayers, that was going to be a solid career choice. And it wasn't. And so, I'm dealing with the grief of that. And I'm in my flower beds. It was an April day, and I remember it distinctly. I was pulling weeds and, cleaning out a mulched area. And I was literally like, the tears are just streaming down my face because I was just like, I don't know how we're going to afford a bucket full of mulch. And these are like the things that are running through my mind. Literally our income just was sliced right in half and abruptly. Yeah, I did that to myself, but I felt like I was forced to. I didn't know, I tried to work with them to try to, see if there was something else I could do. And anyway, we don't need to go into the semantics of why. But so I'm out in the mulch and I'm crying, thinking, oh my gosh, like our house is going to look like crap, and I don't have any mulch. And anyway, this truck pulls up with a trailer behind it, and the guy jumps out and he says, hey, he said, my husband's name is so-and-so here. And I said, yeah, he's out back. He's up in the shed. And he's like, oh, I'm so-and-so. I work with your husband and I have some leftover mulch here. I thought maybe you guys could use it. Okay. So come on, people. like that was one of the first times I recognized that, like, wait a minute. There's something more going on here. And like things like this just continue to happen to me over and over and over. And so it's a very interesting phenomena. But the thing is, you have to know your own psyche inside and out, know what is projection, know what is your own thought, know your dark, know your light, and just have a really clear channel to pull things in. But yeah, so shifting perspective really is, opening yourself up energetically, recognizing that sometimes these detours are actually, things that are meant for you. And also a little bit about manifestation. It's a gorgeous day, and I'm not sure what I'm going to manifest today, but hopefully it's something good. So have a great day. Bye for now.